Hello friends, my name is Emily. I tutor the Abecedarians and the young apprentices for CC. We made it to week 6. Are you guys having a break next week? Because we are, and I'm looking forward to it. I think we all need a little break, but today was really fun. We did a lot of movement, a lot of getting energy out. With the weather changing here, the kids have been kind of cooped up indoors for a while, so it was really a fun day and good to just get moving around. So I'm going to go over our new grammar, and then at the end I'm going to share a variation of the review game that we did last week. This one is directly related to this week's new grammar. So the first thing we did is geography. We have the maps all set out when the kids come into the classroom. I took all of this from Love Mrs. C here on YouTube. I'll link her below so you can check out her videos. She has lots of great ideas. The only thing I changed was I think she used chocolate chips for the mountains to move the mountains around, and I used candy corn because it's that time of year and we have too much candy corn in the house. All right, so for geography, we started off in Spain and then we peered over the Pyrenees Mountains into France. And once we got to France, we went into the Alps, and the Alps are on top of Italy. And while we were at the Alps, we checked out the Matterhorn, which is mad. So we were mad when we were at the Matterhorn. The kids really enjoyed doing their mad voices when we said Matterhorn. Then we went to the Carpathians. That's shaped like a backwards C, so Carpathians, backwards C. And then from there we went over to the Black Sea, and the Black Sea looks like a foot. So we imagined the Black Sea was a foot kicking a ball over to the Caspian Sea, and the trail where the ball went is the Caucasus Mountains. And then the Ural Mountains go up and down there in Russia. So as we located each place, first I didn't pass out the candy corn at first. We found the Pyrenees and we pointed and said, Pyrenees, Pyrenees, Pyrenees. Then once we went through all of them and repeated 3 times, then I gave out the candy corn. We moved the candy corn around and said it again 3 times. Pyrenees, Pyrenees, Pyrenees. I moved it around and then we ate it when we were done. Next we did timeline. For timeline in our class, the kids eat snack because they're usually restless by then, and usually they're already asking for snack even during geography. So they're sitting down eating, and I go around and show the timeline cards. I say the words on the cards and they repeat after me. I put them up in the board in order, and then they come up in pairs. The kids come up in pairs and use our little pointer sticks to point to the cards as they come up in the timeline song. Then today we played a new little game where I split them up into boys and girls. The girls went first. I just mixed up all the cards, handed a few out to each of the girls, and they had to work together to put them on the board in order. And then the boys did the same thing, and we listened to the timeline song as I pointed to the cards to check their work to make sure they put them in the right order. Next we did math. Getting my papers in order. Okay, next we did math. I got these printables from CC Connected. I'll link them below. This is printed on draft, just FYI, it comes out pretty good still. So I asked the kids if they knew what number this was. They said 11, and it's 2 1s, so we used our 2 1 fingers to point to the numbers. I said the number, and then the kids pointed to their numbers and repeated after me. Then we played the 11 song while we played London Bridge. So another mom and I put our hands up and the kids walked under our hands, and when the song ended we grabbed whichever kid was under us and it was great fun. The kids were running around in a circle to come under. Some of them wanted to be caught, some didn't. Good times had by all. Okay, so then we did the 12s the same way. I said the number, they said the number, we pointed to them, and then we did the same thing. We played the music and played London Bridge. It's a big hit in our class this year, so I think we're going to be doing it more for math. Then next we did history. So first I showed them the history timeline card, the Renaissance one. And just in case you didn't know, this is in the Foundations guide. If you look on the history section, it'll have like a little corner piece here with the number of the card that matches with it, card number 83. So I taught them the hand motions and the words, and they repeated after me. So during the Renaissance, and for Renaissance we do this like a pregnant belly because the Renaissance was a time of rebirth. So during the Renaissance, and then they said during the Renaissance, 1350, 1600, Leonardo, famous inventor. This is what we did last year for inventor, so we're doing this again, like he's inventing something. Shakespeare, this is an American Sign Language S. So Shakespeare, and for playwright we did a fancy bow. Michelangelo, this is an M. He painted the Sistine Chapel, so we painted on the ceiling when we said artist. And Copernicus, and we made a telescope for scientist. And then we just listened through the song a few times and did the hand motions. All right. After history, we did Latin. Latin's a review from last week. So I got out my Latin cue card, and we talked about how when you shoot a bow, the arrow goes into the future, so future tense is bow. And then we reviewed future tense, future tense, future tense. I said all the endings and they repeated after me, so we got the pronunciation correctly. And then so for this one I put blue painter's tape on the floor, and as we listened and sang to the song, the kids jumped on the line, and then for the next time we listened to the song, they hopped on one foot on the line, and they just kept going around in a circle and coming back to the line to do it as many times as they could. And then for the last one, they just took like really big steps on the line. So that was fun and got a lot of energy out. Then for English, today we did possessive pronouns. So the first thing I did was I reviewed the pronoun definition from week 2. I think I'm going to do that. I forgot last year I did that, and I've been forgetting to do it this year anyway. So whenever we bring up pronouns, I'm going to review the definition of pronoun. Then I reminded the kids last year we had learned possessive for Latin, and for possessive we did this possessive. So we did that again and kind of talked about, you know, if I have something, it's mine. If I give you something, it's yours. Then we did the possessive pronouns to the chicken dance song. I'll link some full-length chicken dance songs in the description. There's some good ones out there. So for today we did possessive pronouns, mine, yours, his, hers, it's, ours, yours, theirs. We did that a few times, and then today we combined all the pronouns from week 4 to this week and sang the chicken dance song up until this week, and we went over that one twice so they could see how it all went together, because we're going to keep on with the chicken dance song, so they got to get used to it. And the last thing we did was science. For science, I used these printables from CC Connected. These are from the Scribblers section. So we just talked about the rabbit and how in the snow it turns white, and then when there's no snow it turns brown, so it changes its colors. I probably should have colored it in, but I think the kids got the concept. Then this one's for migrate and hibernate. And I'll link those in the description. I printed them on cardstock so I could set them up on the board easier. So then I taught them the hand motions. For adapt, we pretended to put a hood up. So we'd said adapt. And then for migrate, we flew, migrate, and hibernate, we did this, but hibernate. Then for a little more action, we pushed our chairs in, or the kids pushed their chairs in, they got up, and we went around the room hopping like bunnies, saying adapt, adapt, adapt. And then we flew around the room like geese, saying migrate, migrate, migrate. And then we fell on the floor and pretended to sleep and said hibernate, real slow and sleepy like. Yeah, that was it. Seems really fast when I share it on here, but we always fill up the whole 30 minutes or take longer. So for this week's review game, we did a very similar thing to last week, which was our bow and arrow game. I brought in this bow and arrow from my kids' toy, and it has a suction cup here. So we use this to shoot at the board and aim for certain targets. And we do this cooperatively, so we just see what we can get for our high score. Last week I drew a target up on the board, but this week I drew the animals from the environmental change memory work. So here is what I drew. I don't have like a real picture of it, but I'm going to show you like the little sketch I did ahead of time to get ready for it. So I drew a rabbit in front of snow-capped mountains, and then there's a little sleeping bear inside of a cave with another mountain, and then these are birds in a V shape, and I kind of made some dots across here when I did it on the board, so if the kids got anywhere within this triangle, they got 15 points. I also drew some clouds up here, so if the kids hit any of the animals, they got 15 points. And then any of the landscape, they got 10 points. Because we have the younger kids in the class, some of them were having a hard time with the bow and arrow, so we also had a bean bag, so the kids could just throw the bean bag at the board and try and get points that way. So I had this bag, and the kids could pull out they had to close their eyes and pull out memory work. We'd review the memory work. If any of the kids got any of the answers right on their own from the memory work, like even if they just said one little piece of it correctly, then they would all take turns being able to shoot at the board. And we were just going for a high score. I think we ended up getting like 95 points, but every time the kids got more points, we would count on the board. I would write them up in tally marks, so we could count by fives. So that reviewed our fives too, our five skip counting. So, yeah, I started off by saying it, and by the end I was trying to get them to count the fives. And then I just gave them some more candy. We got one of those mixed, like autumn mix packs of candy, which comes with like the pumpkins and the candy corn. So everybody got a candy pumpkin. And then when we clean up the room, I play the timeline song so that we can review timeline that way. We've done other timeline reviews where we like put out all the cards and the kids put them in order, but for today, that's what we did. So I know a lot of you liked the idea of the bow and arrow. So if you tried it, I'd like to hear how it went. And also, I always forget to mention this, but if you can hit the like button if you do enjoy my videos, I think that helps my videos get like a wider reach so that more people can see them. And I am trying to help other CC tutors with ideas and everything. So if you could hit the like button, I think that would help other people get these videos. So anyway, I hope you have a great week 6. I hope you get a good rest if you get the next week off. And I don't know, are you looking forward to tin whistles? I like tin whistles, but it is, I think, a totally different experience with the kids this age. Well, anyway, all right, well, I will see you guys in a few weeks then. Bye.